The following non-nominated, non-award-winning program is rated D for Dumb.
Thank you, Harry. Hey, everybody. Dave Canyon here. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. I'm on the New York State Thruway. I'm northbound on my way to work. It is, I think it's the 12th of January, and it is 1:39 p.m. I am in the Kia Rio, 2008 Kia Rio LX, also known as the Porta Potty. Porta Potty, I've done about 280 some odd episodes, and most of them have been in the Kia. Every so often I'm in a different vehicle. But I appreciate you coming along for the drive, coming along for the ride, joining me in my commute, maybe listening to this during your commute, and maybe somewhere along the way we'll learn something. We'll dumb it down together. All right. Anyway, for those of you who have been listening for a very, very, very long time, notice that there's something different about this episode. There's no music, there's no intro, there's no nothing. Just me, a little bit of a little Harry, the AI voice supplied by Linda Irwin from Awesome Insanity Surfers. Linda Irwin, Awesome Insanity Surfers. She has her own podcast here. She has several here on Spreaker, and you probably can find it on Apple. But anyway, things have changed. We're going to do Dumbing It Down with Dave. I think this is 3.0. I've already did the 2.0 reboot a couple years ago. And now there's going to be 3.0. We're scaling back. I'm scaling back a lot of things. Why? Well, first of all, I'm scaling back a lot of things in my life. And I'm just thinking that this is the best thing for me personally. Personally, scaling back. I've scaled back on my relationships. I just recently, within the last couple of weeks, actually more than a couple weeks, it was like the first week in November or so, kind of let somebody go who I've mentioned on the show many, many times. Used to be a big supporter of the show, used to be, and I appreciate all that. It's not that I don't appreciate, I appreciate everything. But I've come to learn that I am having difficulties in life. I am. Not them, not any of my depleters, although, it takes two to tangle, or tango or whatever, and everybody is complicit in one way or another, as far as I'm concerned. But it's okay. This show is not about blaming. This show isn't about naming names and embarrassing people. It never has been. But I have let people go. I do sometimes refer to them as my depleters, and sometimes I don't. It doesn't really matter what the name is. The bottom line is that I'm having an issue with relationships. Not with all relationships, but most relationships, and definitely with other men. So that's fine. It is what it is. That last person, I don't hate this last person. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. I don't anything about him. He's not my enemy. Nothing. It's just that I have come to learn that our relationship was toxic. It was a toxic relationship. There were moments where I felt incredible pain, anger, resentment, so many negative things that I decided that, you know what, I don't want to experience these things in my life. Anybody that doesn't want to experience things in their life will say that. I don't want to experience this in my life. And you'll get rid of it. You'll remove it from your life. It's that simple. Anyway, I got a little distracted because a car behind me, and this will happen here at Dumbing It Down with Dave, as I record this live while I'm driving the Porta Potty, my 2008 Kia Rio LX, northbound on the New York State Thruway. Somebody just got pulled over, probably for speeding. But the funny thing is, they got pulled over by a plainclothes SUV. In other words, it's an unmarked vehicle. And I've seen this unmarked vehicle several times, so it's just interesting to have seen it happen behind me. Anyway, and it happened at Coxsackie, for those of you who travel the New York State Thruway, about the 123-mile marker. So anyway, a little distracting, but that's okay. I'm back on track. So if there's something painful in your life, you get rid of it. And I've been getting rid of things. Dave, how long before you have nothing? Well, right now I have nothing. Right now I don't have one friend. I don't have one friend that will call me, text me, say, hey, what are you doing? You want to drop by? Whatever. I don't have anybody. That is fine. Nobody I know directly supports my podcast, supports my YouTube channel, wants to spend any time with me, wants to do anything. nothing. I'm down to zero. I'm absolutely down to zero, and that's going to have to be okay. So I can't have less than zero, can I? I guess I could start having enemies. Enemies would be less than zero. And I'm sure I have enemies out there. I don't know who they are. Or maybe I don't have enemies. Maybe I just have people that don't like me. But whatever. All right, so anyway, this all stems from the fact that if you're listening to this for the first time, I didn't do my intros, my music, the voiceover, all that stuff. I just had Harry do a little something, AI Harry, artificial intelligence Harry, I guess is what AI stands for, supplied to me by Linda Irwin from Awesome Insanity Surfers. So I'm scaling back. I'm scaling back my assistant, reducing her hours. I'm scaling back all my social media efforts. I'm doing a lot of scaling back. Am I getting back to basics? I don't even know. I really don't know. All I know is I'm not comfortable right now in my life. And some of this has to do with relationships, and some of this has to do with some of the recent events that have occurred in this country in the last couple of days. Mostly, I mean, the last couple of years too, but the last couple of days, the removal of Parler. And maybe once this gets out, once I publish it, this will be dated. But as I'm publishing this, as I'm recording this and about to publish it, Parler is offline. And let me tell you why it bothers me. And by the way, I don't like doing political shows. I've come to totally realize that anytime I'm involved with politics, anytime I'm personally involved with politics, I walk away feeling worse. Worse. Never the same and never better. Which makes me think so many different things. So any of you who I've interacted, and some of you I have, some of you on Facebook, and we talk politics, and I see you doing political things, I automatically, instinctively, or whatever the word, by the way, I'm also, in 2021, I'm really going to try to watch my words. People use words so ridiculously. They say things, I go, wait a minute, you just really totally affected the whole sentence. Is that really what you want to say? And I'm going to probably stop myself a million times from here on in, thinking out loud, is that really the word I want to use? And maybe that'll give you something to think about. Maybe let's dumb down talking. Let's dumb it down. Let's really listen to ourselves. Are these really the words we want to use? Are we really capable of free speech? Maybe it should be taken away from us. No, it shouldn't be taken away from us. But some of us really talk out of an orifice that is not their mouth. They talk from the bottom of their body, and it stinks. But in 2021, I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to just try to, I think I've always done that, but now that I've eliminated another person in my life, now that I've scaled back some of my social media efforts, or all of them, or whatever, and I've already talked about how this podcast used to be 2 podcasts a week, 2 half-hour episodes. I don't know what I'm going to do from here on in. And it doesn't matter. I don't want to be that podcast that spends time talking about it. But anybody who I'm involved with knows that I'm either going to do 1 half-hour a week, and if I'm obligated to an hour, they're just going to have to find that other half hour somewhere. And if they can't have me involved in their business, then that's fine. I don't care. Really, it makes no difference to me. I'm not here for all of that. I'm not here for all of that. I'm here for this. I'm here for talking, listening to myself, and having you engage with me. Having you engage with me for the moment via, here on Spreaker, the chat box if you're on Spreaker. 99% of you are not on Spreaker. So I've told you over and over again. Twitter, @DumbWithDave. Twitter, @Dumb, D-U-M-B with Dave. Email, dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. I never get emails. dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. For the moment, Facebook, the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. I don't know how much longer that's going to last. I just don't know. Am I going to drop out of Facebook? Boy, I'd love to. I'd love to delete my account. I've done it before, and I loved it. And if I didn't have this podcast, let me be perfectly 100%, if anything more than 100% clear. If it wasn't for this podcast, and if it wasn't for my YouTube channel, I would not be on Facebook. I would have even 99.99, maybe 100% less contact with everybody. Because nobody I know calls me. Nobody I know writes me a letter. Nobody. So, and I have no friends that drop into my house. So I'd be totally 100% isolated. I don't even have a dog. I don't even have a cat anymore. I have a woodpecker. I have a woodpecker that I don't want. That wakes me up in the middle of the day. You can check out Dave's Fit Life. I have videos about the woodpecker. Dave's Fit Life on YouTube. And I have the website. I do have the website. I don't know for how much longer. I don't know how much longer for anything, because it seems like the world is really changing. It's changing. Maybe it's changing quickly. See, that's one of those words you got to be careful. Oh, it's changing quickly. Well, it's been changing quickly. It really started changing very quickly as soon as this technology got to the point where everybody had the World Book Encyclopedia in their phones and a camera. So, as soon as we got those phones, we can text. And I remember when my son showed me, we're texting. I said, who are you texting? Oh, we're texting, Jimmy, whatever, one of his friends. I go, well, why don't you just call him? Why don't you just call him? Well, why would you text him? Just call him. And they were like, nah, you don't understand, Dad. I go, yeah, I don't understand. And now I'm texting like a lunatic. The whole world is texting like a lunatic. 99% of us no longer talk. We text. You can track human behavior going way out of whack, especially in the United States. If I was smart enough, if I worked for a network and I had nothing but time, I didn't have to go to work, and I had guys that knew how to do Excel spreadsheets and research and all that other stuff, because I can't do any of this by myself. You can track the first smartphone, whatever that was, with human behavior, and watch the decline of human behavior with the increase of technology. I'm absolutely 100% sure of that. I can't prove it in this podcast, but there's no doubt in my mind that there's a correlation between the level of technology increasing, the amount that we use it, and the decrease in positive, reliable human behavior with integrity and sincerity. There's no doubt in my mind. And then we've come to this point. And by the way, if I've gone down any rabbit trails and I didn't finish any sentences, please point that out to me. I'll probably listen to it and I'll do another episode, maybe, and whatever. No promises on second episodes anymore. But it's all gotten to this point where we know, some of us know the same people who have been deplatformed. They've been deplatformed from, so I meant to mention the website. I have a contact. And by the way, I just wrote my first original blog. I had hired somebody to do fake blogs for me. And they were nice. They looked nice. Whatever. I don't know. They're not really good representations of Dave Canyon. I never should have agreed to it. It's a big mistake I made in my life a couple of months ago. And I'm trying to rectify all that now. But I just did a blog. Sometimes we make mistakes. I think I tweeted it out or something like that. Sometimes we make mistakes. So feel free to read my original blog. It's my original words. I should just read it here, but I don't have it. It's on the internet somewhere. It's on my website. Go to my website, davecanyon.com, whatever, /blog. I don't know how it works. You know how to find it. Blog. Sometimes we make mistakes. So we all know people who have been deplatformed. They've been deplatformed from YouTube for no good reason. I, right now, am prohibited from advertising on Facebook. Facebook, which wants to do nothing but make money, they're prohibiting me since late October. They will not take my money because of something that my assistant and I put together. They disapproved of it, but we fixed it. It was just it wasn't anything harsh, and it was just a logo or something. We were using the Facebook logo, but which is okay except for the week of the elections. It was a humorous election campaign. And I would love to do a whole YouTube video about it, but I'm afraid if I do, I'll make it even worse. See, that's the situation I feel like I'm in right now. I'm in a situation, I want to talk about it, but I don't want to make it worse. Because right now, I'm only restricted from Facebook advertising. I'm not restricted from Facebook. I can still do everything on Facebook. I just can't take out an ad. Which is ridiculous because, I just want to give them my money. I want to give them my $50, my $100, and we always run a 7-day ad. And we always center it around an event. They let me do 7 hours into Halloween, and then they stopped my campaign. Because of the election campaign that we had created, which was really beautiful. My assistant did a fantastic job. I mean, she did all of it, really. 99% of it. I just do my little New York critique, I don't like that. I don't like, and then she changes it and whatever, which is great. She does 99% of the work. I do 1% of the work. And then we try to publish it. And we had done other campaigns which were successful. It grew my audience. It was affordable. And we were learning together. We were having fun learning. We felt good about ourselves. Until the election campaign. And then they said, you got to take away the Facebook icon. Okay. And you got to take away the Instagram icon because we don't want to seem like we're endorsing you. Because it was a joke election thing, whatever. But whatever. And I mean, it wasn't hilarious. We didn't design it to be hilarious. We designed it to be eye-catching and intriguing and compelling and entertaining. So we made the changes. They approved it. They said, good. By the way, there are no people. We're not dealing with people. There are no people in this process. The only people in this process are me and my assistant, not Facebook. There were no people in the process. There was only bots. And then we wrote a letter for review, and it's been since October something. It's been 90 days, and they haven't reviewed our letter. They haven't unrestricted me. So right now, I can't take out an ad. So we lost the election. We lost the Halloween campaign. We were 7 hours into it. They canceled that. They canceled my election campaign. They never let us run our Christmas campaign and our New Year's campaign. And we would have had probably a Valentine's Day campaign gone, everything until they unrestrict me. And I don't anticipate that happening anytime soon. And frankly, at this point, I have much less concern than I did 30, 60, 90 days ago. Because 30, 60, 90 days ago, I was really into this podcast. I really wanted to grow it. Now, I just want to keep it alive until I get out of this, whatever it is I'm involved in my head. The pain that's going on in my life. So, I'm concerned about this thing with Parler. And you should be too. We all should be. I don't care what your political affiliations are. The fact that an entire platform with zero hate in its heart, zero hate in its intention, zero badness. By the way, zero badness as much as Facebook has zero badness, or Instagram, or Twitter, or any other social media platform. This was not a dark web page. This was nothing. They're calling it an alternative, whatever. Some people were saying it's an alternative right wing. Listen, I was on it once or twice. I never really fully vetted it out because I'm busy. Same as every other reason I've ever given. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I was busy. And I just haven't had a chance to really talk about it. That was part of my thought process. Let me just get through, I mean, the Facebook thing dragged me down the mud a little bit. I was concerned about that. And I really thought I just had unlimited time. But as much as people are saying what they're saying about Parler, it was for everyone. Everyone. Not just conservative. There's nothing in the sign-up process that asks you your political affiliations. Nothing. Zero. It doesn't ask you if you're black or white. It doesn't ask you anything except basic information. So, that has been taken away. And I think that's wrong. And I can go on and on about all the things that are going on in Twitter, but people aren't being banned. There's a lot of evil going on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, but yet nobody's being taken down. Nothing has been stopped. Just because it's in a foreign language doesn't mean it's okay. So if I'm on this show and I say shite, in the United States, people go, oh, he just said shite. I don't know what that means, but it sort of sounds like he's saying the same word with a different pronunciation. Why is he doing that? Well, if you're a soccer fan, or if you know anything about Europe, I guess, I don't know, maybe Scotland, England, I don't know. Shite is a different way of saying what we say here. Just change the pronunciation of the letter I. But I don't get in trouble for saying shite. I don't have to mark this show explicit. In America, it means nothing. I'm not even sure if it's English. Is it Scottish? I don't know what shite. I haven't looked it up. It doesn't matter if it's a foreign language. What matters is I can say it. I can say it. It's not a word that I think makes the show explicit. I guess I could say arse. Instead of the other word. This whatever. So anyway, Parler should not be taken down. I don't remember where I was going with that. Should not have been taken down. The way it was handled was poor. It was insensitive. It was inappropriate. There's a huge overreaction going on in this country. A huge overreaction to something that I believe is not nearly as bad as anybody's making it out to be. And you might say, Dave, do you understand what happened? Do you know what those guys did? They stormed. Listen, I'm going to throw... Oh, I didn't know the music was on. I'm going to say something that I've said a million times. I'm going to use this number, and I want you to think about it. The amount of people who were involved in the worst part of what went down the other day in Washington, D.C., storming the Capitol, sitting in Nancy Pelosi's desk, taking laptops and all this other stuff. The guy with the Viking suit, by the way, who gets paid for public speaking somewhere in Arizona. I heard that on another good source YouTube channel. Said, yeah, I was just at a speaking engagement. And he was there and he was speaking. Anyway, I don't know if he always shows up in the Viking outfit. I don't know what his deal is. But the amount of people who stormed the Capitol. Okay, let's start. The amount of people who were there, that's one number. Then the amount of people who marched, probably a lower number. And then the third number is how many people actually went up the steps of that building and then crashed into that building, whatever, and had conflicts with the police and whatever, and then went inside and started doing damage. Do you realize the amount of people that is such a small amount of people in comparison to the rest of the United States, much less the world? It is an immensely small part of the population. Incredibly small. Which leads me to believe there's nothing to worry about. I don't have to get into the whole conspiracy theory of why the police weren't ready, so on and so forth. I don't have time for that. Is it a conspiracy? The Antifa, why weren't the police ready? All this other stuff. I'm saying to you, all things being equal, the amount of people that were there, that stormed, that did the damage, that went crazy, is so small compared to the rest of the United States. This is not typical, and this is not something that's, this is how conservatives feel. No. This is not how conservatives feel. This is not the action we want to take. By the way, I am not a card-carrying conservative. I'm saying we are like people who make sense, people who talk common sense, people who try not to be irrational. I save my irrationality for my family, for my father, for my depleters, for my job, but not even. When it comes to this, I like to think I'm rational. I'm not concerned about this. And this whole thing with impeachment, it's so ridiculous, but this is all games that I've never enjoyed. I don't enjoy games. I don't like political games, gamesmanship, all this craziness. Nobody's talking to each other. All they're doing is playing games. And if you're playing along with it, if you're playing along, if you're going, oh yeah, my guy says this, oh my guy says this, my guy says this, then you're a fool. You're a fool. Because you're buying into the stupidity. You're a sheep. You're a dumb sheep. You're dumb. Not dumb in a good way. Not dumb in a term of endearment. You're dumb. You're a moron. You believe any of this. Go to work. Go home. Eat. Sleep. Take a shower. Do a hobby. Spend time. Eye to eye. Mouth to ear. Hand to hand. Spend time with a human being. I know, COVID, whatever. Do the best you can. You'll feel better. So will everybody else. Probably. You don't always have a good time with other people. Stop with this craziness. Buying into the lunacy. Oh, the world's coming to an end. Oh, impeachment. Oh, apocalypse. Oh, we're going to storm the capitals. Every state. Blah, blah, blah. No. Not happening. All right? Want me to say it's a hoax? I have no idea what it is. All I know is that it's an incredibly small part of the population. 99% of us will be home, sleeping, watching TV. I don't think there's anything to see here. Move along. Anyway, I had to stop recording there just before I said anyway, and go into work and go into dispatch because they wanted me in early, and I started recording the podcast late on my commute. But now I'm on my way to what they call peanut bottle. It's a random thing. I'm going to go peanut bottle. I'm using the company pickup truck, and I'm going to go peanut bottle. So I'm going to finish up this podcast talking to you while I'm on my way to peanut bottle to make sure that I'm not using drugs and all that stuff. So it's a random test. And the only thing I'm upset about is that I was told last night, come in early so you can have a little fun. And now I know what it means when they say come in early. They want you to do this. I can't believe after all these years I didn't figure this out, that they want me to go in a peanut bottle. But that's okay. Anyway, let's finish this up. Got a couple of minutes to go. I'm upset about this Parler thing. I think it's way too harsh. I've done a lot of different things, talked about a lot of different topics on the show about authorities acting too harshly. So it's not just this, because you voted for President Trump and you would have voted. No, it has nothing to do with anything except for the fact there's no reason to deplatform a platform. There was no reason. There is no reason. So if I wanted to, if I could, I would call my show If I Was a Democrat. And I would love to do that with somebody who's a Democrat, and they could say, if I was a Republican. That would be a great show. If I was a Democrat, if I was a Republican. Or if I just called the show If I Was a Democrat. These are the things I would say. Because what I say on this show has nothing to do with the fact that I am, in fact, a registered Republican. It has nothing to do with the fact who I voted in this prior election and in the election before that, or any election. It has to do with common sense. Parler was going to be a free speech platform. For how long and in what way, I couldn't guarantee you what they were going to do. But they were making an attempt. And it wasn't. It says nowhere it's only for right-wingers. It says nowhere it's only for Republicans. Just like, by the way, Facebook doesn't say it's only for anybody. Instagram, Twitter. It never says it's just for. And chances are there's a lot of dating sites that may be gay or lesbian. They don't say it's only for. It never says that. Any of these places. So, I'm going to talk about this more in other episodes, I'm sure. If I was a Democrat, I'd be saying, this is ridiculous. We've taken it too far. This is too much. I don't like the way things are going. If I was a Democrat, that's what I would be saying. Why can't we just get along? Why can't we talk more? And by the way, no, I'm going to say that for the next episode. I'm going to say that for that. I have a by the way, I'm going to say it for the next episode. So be careful what you wish for, everybody. If you have been wishing for this, be careful.
If you are enjoying these shows, please like and subscribe. Also, share them with your social media. Feel free to comment in the Spreaker chat box or call the dumb line at 347-746-3862. Please keep your messages to 60 seconds or less and